So it did take a bit of time for us to get to know each other, but we did become, very close friends from quite early on.
Breaking news from Buckingham Palace has just shattered the calm of the British monarchy. What was supposed to be a routine announcement has turned into something far more devastating and deeply shocking. The confirmation everyone has been dreading about Catherine, Princess of Wales, has finally arrived, and the implications are staggering. This is the announcement that changes everything. The ornate gates of Buckingham Palace have witnessed countless historic moments over centuries, but few compare to what unfolded just moments ago. At precisely 11:45 this morning, the Palace press office released a statement that instantly sent shockwaves rippling through the United Kingdom and across the world. Every word was carefully crafted yet devastatingly clear, confirming what many had feared but hoped against. Catherine, Princess of Wales, the woman who embodies modern royal grace, poise, and resilience, is now confronting a battle far more serious than anyone had publicly acknowledged. The statement, released through official channels and immediately picked up by major news organisations worldwide, revealed that Catherine's health situation has taken an alarming and unexpected turn. While the palace had previously announced in March 2024 that Catherine was undergoing preventative chemotherapy following abdominal surgery, today's update paints a far graver picture. The cancer, first discovered during her surgery in January, has proven far more aggressive than originally believed. Medical experts advising the royal household now recommend an extended and intensified treatment protocol, one that will require Catherine to step completely away from public duties for an indefinite period. Royal correspondent Jonathan T. was among the first to break down the implications live on television. His normally measured and professional tone carried an unmistakable weight as he explained that the language in palace statements is never accidental. Every word is scrutinised, debated, and approved at the highest levels. When the palace uses phrases like extended treatment and indefinite period, they are signalling something far more serious than a temporary setback. This isn't about taking a few months off to recover from routine procedures. This is about a woman in her early 40s fighting for her life while doing everything possible to protect her 3 young children from the full horror of what their mother is enduring. Within minutes of the announcement, social media erupted in a frenzy. Twitter, now X, saw Catherine's name trending worldwide. The hashtag #JohnPrayForCatherine surged to #1 in over 50 countries, while Instagram posts from royal fan accounts amassed millions of views within the first hour. But beyond the digital storm, a deeper, more profound reaction was taking hold. People who had never particularly cared about the monarchy found themselves moved by the tragedy unfolding before them. Here was a woman who had done everything right, who had devoted herself tirelessly to public service, and who had raised her children with remarkable normalcy despite their extraordinary circumstances, now facing every parent's worst nightmare. The timing of this announcement is especially cruel. Just last month, Catherine had made what many believed was a triumphant return to public life. At the Remembrance Day service at the Tea, she stood on the balcony impeccably dressed in black, her composure absolute before the world. She appeared to be steadily recovering, gradually returning to health after a grueling year. Behind the polished public image, however, a very different reality was unfolding. Medical scans performed in late November revealed complications no one had anticipated. Cancer cells, which doctors had hoped were fully eliminated, had shown troubling activity in areas that left the medical team in deep concern. Palace insiders, speaking on condition of anonymity, described the hours leading up to today's announcement as organised chaos. Senior royals were informed late last night during emergency meetings. King Charles himself, who is still managing his own cancer diagnosis revealed earlier this year, was reportedly devastated. Prince William, who has been Catherine's unwavering rock throughout this ordeal, was forced to make the heartbreaking decision to go public with the full truth. Maintaining the facade that all was normal had become impossible. Medical realities have a way of forcing hands, and the royal family's hand has been forced in the most heart-wrenching way possible, casting Catherine into a journey through shadows few can imagine. To grasp the full weight of today's revelation, we must go back to where this nightmare began. January 16th, 2024 was meant to be an ordinary day in the carefully choreographed life of the Princess of Wales. Instead, it marked the start of a terrifying journey Catherine could never have imagined. The planned abdominal surgery, described at the time as successful and for a non-cancerous condition, revealed something far more sinister during the procedure at London Clinic, one of Britain's most prestigious private hospitals. Surgeons discovered abnormalities that demanded immediate biopsy. The results, delivered days later, changed everything. Cancer, the word that strikes fear into millions, was now part of Catherine's reality. But this was no ordinary diagnosis. The palace has carefully guarded specific details, but sources suggest it was a particularly aggressive form requiring immediate, intensive treatment. Medical experts speaking generally explain that when cancer is discovered incidentally during surgery for other issues, it often means the disease has been silently progressing, undetected. This silent progression is what makes it so dangerous. Catherine's decision to undergo preventative chemotherapy, announced to the world in March, was the first step in an intensely personal and grueling battle. In that emotional March video, she framed treatment as a precautionary measure. She spoke with characteristic dignity, explaining that while surgery had been successful, tests had revealed cancer, and her medical team recommended chemotherapy as the best course forward. What she couldn't say without causing public panic, was that her doctors were deeply concerned about microscopic disease that might have already spread beyond the surgical site. The chemotherapy Catherine endured was brutal. Friends close to the family quietly shared that the side effects were far worse than anyone anticipated. The nausea, the fatigue, the hair loss, all expertly concealed with wigs and styling. Each cycle of treatment left her weaker, yet she persisted with the same determination that has defined her royal life. She wanted to beat this. She needed to beat this. George, Charlotte, and Louis needed their mother. Throughout spring and summer 2024, Catherine largely disappeared from public view. Rare photographs released by Kensington Palace showed a woman struggling to maintain normalcy for her children. Birthday portraits, casual family snapshots, carefully curated moments designed to reassure the public that the princess was on the mend. Yet those who could read between the lines noticed troubling signs: weight loss, meticulous positioning in photos to hide the toll treatment had taken, cancellations of events she would normally have attended without question. By September, when Catherine released a video announcing the completion of her chemotherapy, cautious optimism emerged. She spoke of relief and of looking forward to more public engagements, the light at the end of the tunnel. Family footage showed her laughing with William and their children in the Norfolk countryside, a seeming victory lap, a triumphant declaration that she had beaten the odds. Medical professionals watching noted her careful choice of words. Chemotherapy had ended, not cancer. She spoke of a new phase of recovery, not of being cured. These distinctions matter enormously. The autumn brought what seemed like a gradual return to royal duties. Catherine appeared at Wimbledon in July, a brief but significant public outing. She attended the remembrance service in November, standing with the dignity and grace that has become her hallmark. Each appearance was carefully managed, her schedule meticulously planned to accommodate her energy levels. What the public didn't know was that behind every one of Catherine's carefully curated appearances were countless medical consultations, constant monitoring, and mounting concern from her doctors. The scans that should have shown clear progress instead revealed shadows, tiny areas that raised alarms and demanded more imaging, more tests, and closer scrutiny. Biopsies returned results no one wanted to see. By late November, Catherine's medical team faced a grim reality. The cancer wasn't gone. It was evolving, adapting, finding ways to persist. Despite the aggressive treatment she had already endured, new protocols were now unavoidable. More intensive, more experimental, more uncertain. Yet through it all, Catherine maintained a strength bordering on the superhuman. Those who have spent time with her describe a woman determined not to be defined by her illness. She continues to oversee her charitable work, quietly and behind the scenes, refusing to let her condition define her public presence. She reads every letter from well-wishers. She is actively involved in decisions about her children's education and daily activities. She supports William as he shoulders expanded responsibilities while watching his wife fight for her life. But the toll is undeniable. This is a fight that tests not only physical stamina, but the mental and emotional reserves no one should be forced to draw upon behind palace walls. The golden facade of royal life has always concealed private struggles, but rarely has the contrast between public image and private reality been so stark. Behind the palace walls, the Wales family has lived through a nightmare intensified by the unique pressures of their position. Prince William, the future king, has found himself stepping into roles no preparation could have readied him for: primary caregiver, emotional anchor, shielding 3 young children from the terrifying truth while supporting the woman he loves through a life-threatening illness. His transformation over the past 11 months has been extraordinary. The prince, once content to let Catherine manage the family's day-to-day routines, has become intimately involved in every aspect of their children's lives: morning routines, school runs, homework help, bedtime stories. He takes on these responsibilities while juggling his own expanding royal duties and the emotional devastation of watching his wife fight for her life. Friends describe him as moving on autopilot, performing daily tasks while internally terrified of what the future may hold. The children, George, Charlotte, and Louis, have been carefully shielded from the full extent of their mother's illness, but they are not oblivious. George, 11, understands more than his parents realise, noticing Catherine's exhaustion and when she is too weak for activities they used to enjoy together. Charlotte, 9, has become almost protective of her mother, wanting to help in ways that break her parents' hearts. Louis, just 6, senses something is wrong, even if he can't fully articulate it. The family has sought guidance from child psychologists to navigate these conversations: how to be honest without frightening the children and prepare them for potential outcomes. Lambrook School, where all 3 children attend, has been discreetly informed and has provided additional support. Teachers have been briefed to watch for behavioural changes, ensuring the children are supported without feeling singled out. Meanwhile, King Charles faces the uniquely painful position of managing his own cancer diagnosis while witnessing Catherine, whom he regards as a true daughter, confront an even more serious illness. His cancer, discovered in February during treatment for an enlarged prostate, requires ongoing management but remains deemed stable. Yet Catherine's deteriorating condition has visibly affected him, prompting increased private visits to Adelaide Cottage, where he spends time with William and the children, offering support and guidance whenever possible. The dynamic between Charles and William during this crisis has revealed remarkable strength. Gone are the tensions that sometimes coloured their interactions. Father and son now find common ground in shared adversity. They speak daily, sometimes multiple times, comparing notes on treatments, sharing fears they cannot voice elsewhere, supporting each other through the loneliness of carrying the weight of monarchy during personal crises. Charles has ensured William gradually takes on more responsibilities, preparing him for circumstances that might accelerate succession in ways no one wants to imagine. Queen Camilla has emerged as an unexpected pillar of strength. Her experience watching her first husband and close friends battle serious illness gives her perspective few possess. She understands the exhaustion, fear, and guilt of being the healthy one while someone you love suffers. Camilla has spent considerable time with Catherine, not talking about illness, but simply offering presence. They've developed a bond beyond official roles, finding solace in shared understanding of what it means to love those who carry the weight of monarchy. The broader royal family has closed ranks. Princess Anne, rarely seen in public, has quietly taken on extra engagements to ease the burden on Charles and William. Prince Edward and Sophie, the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, have increased public appearances while providing practical and emotional support behind the scenes. Even traditionally distant cousins have offered assistance where possible. Perhaps the most poignant aspect of this crisis is the shadow of past royal tragedies. Parallels to Princess Diana's struggles, though different in nature, are not lost on anyone. William's determination to protect Catherine and their children from a media circus has intensified. He personally controls information release, insists on privacy for medical appointments, and has made family boundaries non-negotiable. The trauma of his childhood informs every decision he makes during this crisis, for better or worse. To truly grasp the severity of today's announcement, we must delve into the medical realities Catherine faces. While specific details remain private, the language and context reveal significant clues. Cancer in women. Catherine's age, particularly when discovered during surgery for seemingly unrelated issues, often involves gynecological or gastrointestinal systems. The aggressive nature implied by the need for preventative chemotherapy, followed by extended intensive treatment, indicates a disease that has proven resistant to initial therapeutic approaches. Dr. Sarah Mitchell, an oncologist at Royal Marsden Hospital, who has not treated Catherine directly but speaks with authority on such cases, explains that when cancer requires multiple treatment protocols, it usually indicates either a particularly aggressive cell type or a disease that has demonstrated an ability to evade initial treatments. These are cancers that do not follow predictable patterns. They adapt, evolve, and resist attempts at eradication, requiring constant vigilance and reassessment by the medical team. Modern chemotherapy is highly effective for many patients, yet certain cell types develop resistance mechanisms. They essentially learn to survive in spite of the toxic chemical environment created by chemotherapy drugs. When this occurs, oncologists are forced to pivot, often combining different chemotherapy agents, layering targeted therapies, or even exploring immunotherapy, which represents some of the most innovative approaches in modern medicine. The preventative chemotherapy Catherine completed likely consisted of multiple cycles administered over several months. Each cycle involved receiving potent drugs intended to eliminate any remaining cancer cells, followed by a recovery period during which the body rebuilds strength before enduring the next round. The side effects, nausea, fatigue, hair loss, weakened immune function, and heightened risk of infection, are difficult to endure physically, yet the psychological toll is often the most grueling. Patients live with the constant knowledge that poison is circulating in their veins, intended to kill cancer cells, but affecting healthy cells as well, hoping that the treatment is sufficient while never truly knowing until follow-up scans reveal results. Those follow-up scans, typically performed at 3-month intervals after chemotherapy, are pivotal moments filled with agonizing anticipation. Patients wait in suspended dread for confirmation of remission or the revelation that further treatment is necessary. In Catherine's case, scans performed in late November revealed troubling news, new areas of concern, growth in regions that should have been cleared. This alarming discovery required additional biopsies to determine precisely what was happening at a cellular level. The results of those biopsies informed today's announcement. When cancer recurs or persists despite initial treatment, the medical calculus changes dramatically. First-line chemotherapy protocols, usually the most effective, have already been exhausted. Second- and third-line treatments often carry lower success rates and significantly harsher side effects. Doctors must strike a delicate balance, aggressiveness versus the patient's quality of life. Every decision considers that the patient is not merely fighting disease, but trying to maintain a semblance of normal life. For Catherine, this balance means treatments that are sufficiently potent to combat the disease without completely incapacitating her, allowing her to continue family life, fulfill some public duties, and preserve emotional well-being. The medical team overseeing Catherine's care is composed of the pinnacle of British oncology specialists, Royal Marsden consultants, experts from leading cancer centres, and specialists in specific treatment modalities. They meet frequently to review her case, debate approaches, evaluate clinical trials, and explore every viable avenue. The King's personal physicians coordinate with Catherine's team to ensure continuity of care and exchange of insights, reflecting a level of collaboration that exemplifies medicine at its highest. The seriousness of the situation is clear. Such an assembly is never convened for routine cases. Immunotherapy is among the treatment strategies under consideration. These therapies train the patient's immune system to recognize and attack cancer cells directly. For some, immunotherapy achieves remarkable results even when traditional chemotherapy has failed. Yet response is not guaranteed, and predicting who will benefit remains a clinical challenge. Catherine's cancer cells have almost certainly been tested for specific markers that indicate potential immunotherapy responsiveness. Targeted therapies are another avenue, using drugs designed to attack specific genetic mutations within the cancer. These approaches can be highly effective with fewer side effects than traditional chemotherapy, but depend on identifying actionable mutations. The field of precision oncology has advanced dramatically in recent years, offering hope where previously little existed. Catherine's medical team has likely conducted extensive genetic sequencing to explore every possible treatment avenue, reflecting both modern medicine and the high stakes of her public position. A monarchy in transition, quietly observing medical breakthroughs in real time. Today's announcement, however, is about more than medicine. It resonates across the monarchy. Royal schedules are meticulously planned months, sometimes years in advance. Catherine's indefinite absence leaves a void that cannot easily be filled. As Princess of Wales and future Queen Consort, she occupies a unique position in the royal hierarchy, second only to the monarch and his consort in terms of public attention and symbolic importance. Immediate practical challenges involve redistributing Catherine's patronages and official duties, a task complicated by her deep personal connections to her charities. She serves as patron to numerous organisations focused on early childhood development, mental health, and the arts. Royal patronage provides not just prestige, but also tangible fundraising advantages and media visibility, which are difficult to replicate. While Catherine may remain nominal patron, the absence of her active engagement creates a genuine gap. Other royals may temporarily cover some responsibilities, but Catherine's personal touch, dedication, and presence cannot be replaced. State occasions present an additional layer of complexity. The monarchy's calendar is dense with events, from state visits and diplomatic receptions to national commemorations. Catherine's anticipated presence will now be missed, leaving Queen Camilla to fulfill ceremonial functions. The absence of the younger generation, represented by Catherine, creates an imbalance and affects how the monarchy presents itself to the nation and the wider world. The impact on Prince William is perhaps most profound, already gradually assuming more responsibilities as the future king. Catherine's illness accelerates his transition. He must now balance being the primary public face of the younger royals, covering Catherine's commitments, maintaining his own expanding duties, and being present as a husband and father, a nearly impossible load. King Charles, at 76, facing his own cancer treatment, cannot simply take on additional engagements. The monarchy demands visibility, yet personal health limitations restrict what he can realistically add to his schedule. This tension highlights fundamental questions about the operational sustainability of the modern monarchy. The Princess Royal Anne once again steps up, quietly shouldering additional responsibilities. Known as the hardest working royal, she is 74, remarkably vigorous and committed, yet there are practical limits to how much one individual can accomplish. Prince Edward and Sophie have also increased their public workload, but cannot single-handedly cover the absence of two of the monarchy's most prominent members. This situation underscores the vulnerability inherent in Charles's slimmed-down monarchy concept. A smaller core can function efficiently in normal circumstances, but struggles under crises such as illness or personal emergency. The line of succession remains secure. Charles, then William, then George. Yet if William must devote significant time and energy to caring for Catherine and their children, his preparation for kingship is impacted. Training, building relationships with ministers, and mastering Commonwealth diplomacy all require sustained focus that the crisis now compromises. Succession planning, while unthinkable, must be considered. Should Catherine's illness prove terminal, William could face the crown while raising 3 children alone, a historically feasible but modernly daunting scenario. The public values the stable family image William and Catherine project. Losing that image would fundamentally alter the monarchy's appeal, its relevance to younger generations, and its relationships with Parliament and the government. Behind the scenes, delicate discussions about contingency plans are surely taking place. Monitor the situation closely. The monarchy's stability is considered a national interest. Any significant disruption to royal functions or succession planning has implications for Britain's constitutional order and international standing. Quiet conversations are undoubtedly occurring about contingency plans, though such discussions would never be acknowledged publicly. Public opinion, that fickle yet powerful force capable of shaping the modern monarchy, has rallied around Catherine in ways that underscore her genuine popularity and deep connection with the British public. Polls consistently rank her as one of the most admired royals, someone who embodies a contemporary interpretation of centuries-old traditions while remaining relatable and authentic. Her illness has generated immense sympathy and concern, but public patience, while generous, is not limitless. If royal functions become noticeably diminished, or if the monarchy appears unable to fulfill its symbolic and ceremonial role, questions about its relevance and resilience may intensify. As the shock of today's announcement begins to settle, attention naturally turns to what comes next. For Catherine herself, the path forward is defined by an unwavering commitment to submit to the treatment protocols her medical team deems necessary, whatever they may involve. Every treatment decision carries enormous weight, requiring a delicate balance between aggressive intervention and quality of life. Catherine wants to overcome this disease, but she also wants to remain present, active, and engaged in her children's daily lives. Finding therapies that offer the best chance of success while allowing her to continue fulfilling her role as a mother demands painstaking calibration, careful planning, and close coordination with her medical team. Palace sources indicate that the next phase of treatment, set to begin in the coming weeks, will likely be even more intensive than what Catherine has already endured. Whether this includes combination chemotherapy, immunotherapy, targeted therapies, or some combination thereof, the physical and psychological side effects will be profound. Managing these effects, while maintaining any semblance of normal family life, will require extraordinary resilience and the support of extensive resources. The Wales household is uniquely equipped with round-the-clock medical care, private chefs preparing meals designed to mitigate nausea and maintain nutrition, and household staff ready to handle daily tasks that become challenging during treatment. Yet even the most privileged resources cannot erase the inherent difficulty of confronting cancer. William's role in the months ahead cannot be overstated. He must simultaneously serve as partner, caregiver, father, and future king, a convergence of responsibilities that would test anyone to their limits. Friends and close observers note, however, that he draws remarkable strength from Catherine's example. If she can confront cancer with unwavering dignity and determination, he can rise to the challenge of supporting her through it. Their relationship, tested as few relationships are, appears poised to emerge stronger rather than fractured. The bond they have forged over more than 2 decades provides stability and reassurance for George, Charlotte, and Louis. The coming months will shape the children's understanding of family, resilience, and mortality in ways that will impact them for life. Child psychologists stress the importance of age-appropriate honesty, maintaining routine, and fostering safe spaces for expression without making children feel burdened. The Wales family has embraced this guidance, holding regular family meetings where the children can ask questions, voice concerns, and process their emotions in a supportive environment. Despite the looming presence of illness, they are ensuring that moments of joy, play, and laughter continue. Cancer may be part of their lives, but it does not define every moment. The broader royal family will continue to play a critical role, with grandparents, cousins, and other relatives providing both practical support and emotional sustenance. The royal calendar will be adjusted to allow senior members more time with William and the children. Some planned international engagements may be postponed or reassigned, and state visits may be scaled back, reflecting the institution's adaptability in response to one of its central figures fighting for her life. Kensington Palace's communication strategy is also evolving. Today's announcement marks a shift toward increased transparency regarding Catherine's condition. While detailed medical information will remain private, the public can expect more consistent updates regarding her treatment and progress. This approach serves multiple objectives: managing public expectations, reducing speculation and rumour, and fostering a sense of connection between the nation and Catherine's journey. Attempts to preserve total privacy through silence have proven untenable. Best-case scenarios may see Catherine attending certain public events later in 2025, albeit in a reduced capacity. More realistic projections suggest that significant public engagement may not resume until 2026 or beyond. There is also the possibility, painful though it may be to consider, that Catherine may never fully return to the level of royal duty she maintained prior to her diagnosis. Such an outcome would represent a profound shift in how the Wales household operates and how the monarchy functions. Medical advancements, however, continue to provide hope. Treatments that were unavailable just 5 years ago are now part of standard care, and clinical trials offer access to cutting-edge therapies. Catherine's team has access to the latest developments globally, ensuring she benefits from every potential treatment avenue. While wealth and status cannot guarantee survival, they do provide access to every conceivable medical resource. Catherine's spiritual life also provides an essential dimension of support. As future Queen and Supreme Governor of the Church of England, her faith has long been a cornerstone of her resilience, and it has become even more central during this crisis. Private prayers, counsel from clergy, and the support of a broad faith community across the nation offer solace that medicine alone cannot provide. The sustaining power of faith, whether one is religious or not, remains a profound factor in her journey. Looking ahead, Catherine's experience will inevitably shape her approach to future royal work. Should she recover sufficiently to resume public duties, having confronted serious illness, she will bring enhanced authenticity to her advocacy, particularly in mental health, patient support, and navigating medical crises. Her patronage of cancer charities will gain even deeper meaning. She could become a leading voice for patients navigating complex healthcare systems, for funding research, and for providing emotional support to families facing similar battles. There is also a legacy unfolding in real time, regardless of outcomes. Catherine's grace under immense pressure, her unwavering dedication to her children, and her refusal to let illness define her exemplify modern courage. These qualities resonate far beyond royal circles. She demonstrates a contemporary form of bravery that acknowledges vulnerability while refusing to surrender to it. Future historians will mark this period as defining, not only for Catherine personally, but for how the monarchy navigated a 21st century crisis. The British public, and indeed people worldwide, find themselves caring deeply for someone they may never have met personally. Catherine has succeeded in making the monarchy feel human and relatable while maintaining dignity and mystique. Her illness strips away any remaining facade, revealing that even royalty faces life's harshest challenges. Catherine reminds us all of our shared humanity as we move forward from today's devastating announcement. Uncertainty dominates. Medical outcomes remain unknown. Timelines cannot be predicted with confidence. The only certainties are that Catherine will continue fighting with every resource available, that her family will stand beside her, and that a nation holds its breath, hoping for positive news in the weeks and months ahead. The coming days will bring more details as the palace adapts to this new reality. More appointments, more treatment decisions, and careful management of public versus private life. Through it all, the focus remains where it should be, on a wife, mother, and daughter, confronting the gravest challenge of her life. Titles and tiaras fade in significance beside this fundamental human drama. Today's announcement from Buckingham Palace marks not an ending, but a transition into a new, more uncertain phase of Catherine's cancer journey. The battle continues, the outcome remains unknown, and all we can do is hope, pray, and support from afar as one of Britain's most beloved figures faces the greatest challenge of her life. The fairy tale romance that captured hearts worldwide now faces its darkest chapter. How this story ends remains unwritten, but the courage with which it's being lived deserves our profound respect and support. If you found this story important and moving, please like, subscribe, share, and comment to show your support and keep others informed about Catherine's journey.